All right, what we're going to do is we're going to consider root x times root x. And the purpose of this is we're going to try to figure out what exponent would lead to a square root. So that's our purpose of looking at this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply root x times root x, which is the same as the square root of x times x, which x times x is x squared. So this is just the square root of x squared. And then the square root of x squared is just x. So that's the basic rule for square rooting is what times itself equals x squared. Well, x times x is x squared, so that's why the square root of x squared is x. So what this means is that root x times root x is just x. Okay, this is really important to us because now we know that x on the right-hand side of the equals is x to the power of 1. So we know root x times root x equals x to the power of 1. So we can kind of set things up and go, well, x to the power of n equals root x. We can sub it into this equation and try and figure out what exponent would lead to x to the power of 1. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, instead of having root x, I'm going to say root x is x to the n. So I'm going to go x to the n times x to the n equals x to the power of 1. When you multiply and you have the same base, you add the exponents. So this is x to the power of n plus n equals 1, or n plus n is 2n, so x to the power of 2n equals x to the power of 1. Well, because the bases are the same, those exponents need to be the same because it's equals. Those two sides need to be the same. So those exponents are the same, so I'm just going to look at them. 2n equals 1. I can solve that, divide both sides by 2. I get n equals 1/2. So putting that back in to where x to the power of n equals root x, I get x to the power of 1/2 equals root x. And we know that the index on the root, when it's a square root, is 2. It's just we don't write it. So this little 2 in the denominator is actually the index of a root. So this is a fractional or a rational exponent. What always happens is that denominator is the index on whatever root it is. So x to the power of 1 over n is the nth root of x. And this is our newest exponent law.